For the next tip, internalize equations as plain language relationships. Your instructor will require that you remember a lot of pertinent formulas for an exam, or will provide them for you. Or perhaps you'll be allowed to write down all the formulas you wish on an index card. Many physics formulas tend to look alike. If you don't understand them, you'll have a hard time selecting the correct formula to use in a certain problem, or confuse the meaning of the variables. Therefore, it is important that you verbalize and internalize the plain language meaning of all formulas and their variables, even for the simplest of problems. This will allow you to demystify them so that you will know when and how to use them. For example, don't describe Newton's second law as merely F is equal to ma. If your instructor adds another force to the problem you already knew how to solve, you might not know what to do. The problem is that Newton's second law was misstated, even though it's commonly described as F is equal to ma. This is sloppy. Rather, describe Newton's second law in plain language. For example, the vector sum of all forces that act on a system is equal to the mass of that system times the acceleration of that system. Express it that way every time you write it down. By the way, the vector sum of all forces is also called the net force. I like to use vector sum of, however, because that tells me what to do. Sum the force vectors. Yes, it takes a few seconds longer to solve a problem doing this, but notice that if your instructor adds another force to the mix, you will already have internalized exactly what to do. You simply vector sum that additional force to the other forces already in the problem. How about another one? P is equal to F divided by A. How many times have I heard this formula described as the pressure is the force divided by the area? Force acting on what? Area of what? Rather, it should be the pressure exerted on a surface by a force is defined as the amount of force exerted on that surface divided by the area of that surface. Do this every time you write down a formula, and you will internalize its meaning forever, and you will have far fewer problems trying to figure out which formula to use to solve a problem. On to the next tip.